Such time as she may consume. The gentlelady from Oklahoma, Ms. Fallin.
Gentlewoman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I, too, would like to offer my support for H.R. 2352, the Job Creation Through Entrepreneur Act, and to thank our Chairwoman Velasquez and Ranking Member Graves for their work in crafting a bipartisan piece of legislation that incorporates several important pieces of small business legislation and work, especially at a time when our national economy is struggling and the American people have asked us here in Congress to focus on economic recovery. This bill will provide important job creation opportunities for our nation's entrepreneurs. And I'd especially like to thank our Chairwoman and our Ranking Member for allowing a piece of my legislation, H.R. 1838, the SBA Women's Business Centers Improvement Act, to be included in the Job Creation Through Entrepreneur Act. This section of legislation adds accountability and transparency to the distribution of funding to women business centers to offer temporary assistance rather than permanent dependency on the federal government. The women's business centers are an important part of the grant programs that are funded by the Small Business Administration. Today, women business centers all across the country are providing women entrepreneurs with much-needed technical assistance in starting and operating their own small businesses. In the mid-1990s, the federal government began awarding grants to women business centers that were operating as nonprofit organizations in conjunction with institutions of higher learning. Originally, these grants were intended to be awarded to business centers in their first 5 years, with the understanding that after this 5-year period had ended, the center would be financially self-sustaining. Although many of the women's business centers did meet this goal, some did not, and for a variety of reasons. And as a result, a greater percentage of the funding for this program has been consumed by the operating costs of the potentially unviable centers rather than the intended purpose of establishing new business women's centers. The result has been a drag upon the system. Unviable business centers that are not truly serving an unmet need in their community were allowed to continue on. And this has jeopardized the effectiveness and the viability of this entire program. The SBA Women's Business Programs Act restores its original priorities held by the federal government when this program was originally enacted. By offering a 3-tiered system of funding and lower caps on spending for older business centers, we can ensure a balanced percentage of the funding is used to support both new and existing business centers. Modernizing the SBA entrepreneur development programs will ensure small businesses have the opportunity to help lead our nation out of this recession and into economic prosperity. The Job Creation Through Entrepreneurship Act is a huge step in the right direction and provides much-needed help and to lend a lending hand to our nation's small businesses. And once again, in closing, I just would like to commend the Chairwoman and the Ranking Member for working together in a bipartisan way to craft a piece of legislation that encompasses so many areas that will help our small businesses in our nation, especially during the National Small Business Recognition Week. And I yield back my time.
Gentleman from Missouri reserves the balance of his time. Gentleman from North Carolina.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to inquire how much time is left on both sides.
Gentleman from